So for today's class, what you'll need is a trigger point ball. You can get these from Rebel Sport or most physio places. It's the preferable is to use the trigger point ball. If you don't have one of those, or you can use a tennis ball, it's not as effective, but eventually get one of these. If you don't have any of those, use a broomstick. You can do a similar job with a broomstick. This is a bit more effective though. And if you don't have any of those, please don't use this as an excuse not to do this session. You'll still get a lot out of it. So let's just do a quick run through of the transverse movement or the cross motion for the foot release. So doing 3 lines, 3 movements across, heel stays on the ground, I'll pivot outwards, I've got the weight going into that foot, let it off, regroup, reposition, 2 and 3, and I go a little bit more, going more towards the center of the foot now, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going more towards the front of the foot, 1, 2 and 3, and change side, 1, 2, 3. So when it comes to activating muscles, getting the body more aware and reconnecting to parts that's kind of lost connection with, working on the sensory system first. So sensory is like the input coming from the outside of your body, from the limbs and things, to the brain. Motor then is power from the brain and the spinal cord out to power something. So for you to get more connection, it needs to have more sensation first, and more sensation coming through the body up to the brain. Then the brain can find the muscle and it can power it more. 2 and 3. So that took about a minute to do. And what I want you to do now is, can you lift your big toe only? So not the other little piggies coming with you, just the big toe. Some people cannot do this, so it's useful to practice so you can. And if you need to, do one at a time. We'll do a few now, but at home just need to do 5. Just get the brain, the telephone line connected to making that happen independently. Because it's a different muscle that lifts your big toe compared to what lifts your other toes. We want that to be online and working. If you find it hard to do, get your finger on top of the tendon and you're just pushing to one side and pushing the tendon across. You feel the tendon flick underneath. So I'm going from in the middle, across the tendon, across, and I'm feeling that flick. I don't know if you can hear it. It actually gives that sensation through that area. You might find, that can move easier now. So the brain just connected. Okay, so can you lift your toes? Keeping this knuckle, so the tripod of the foot, the center of the heel, knuckle of the big toe, knuckle of the little toe. So that tripod, we use that all the time in Tai Chi. I'll repeat it a lot because it's so important, because it's how weighting can properly go through the feet, how the hip can have proper space creation with the way the hip moves, and the brain has that sense of grounding through there. So I want the tripod to keep the weight, but I'm just lifting my toes now. So my big toe staying on the ground, lifting that one up, and then I'm lifting big toe, then other toes, big toe, other toes. I only need about 5 or so. Then from here, can you lift your toes and spread them apart? Lift, spread apart. Lift, spread apart. Can you spread them apart without lifting? So there's different muscles doing that. So I'm spreading my toes apart, then I'm squeezing them together. Spread them apart, squeeze, spread them apart, squeeze, spread them apart. Then put your weight on one side. Really slow ankle circles, so about this speed, so don't go any faster. So we want to get really precise control, so aim to make the biggest circle you can with the ankle and with your toes. Big circle. So for every 5 degrees, when we do this, 5 degrees of movement, there's 2 prime movers and a stabilizer. So we have muscles that go into the foot but start around the knee area. And we have muscles that only start and end in the feet. So what we're just working with just then, we're working with both of those types of muscles. And we go the other way now. You'll want to go fast, keep it smooth, slow, big. It's a gyroscopic kind of joint, the ankle. So what that means is when the foot's planted, that essentially the ankle can make this kind of gyroscopic motion around here. So the ankle does lots of stuff. So it needs that to have good control when you walk, when you do your Tai Chi, when the hip needs to open and close, have internal and external rotation, stability, that grounded sense, it needs all that. So let's change side. So nice and slow, big a circle as you can. If you were to find some part of the circle feels really painful, make it less big a circle there. So go into stiffness, not into pain. And what you'll find probably over the time we've done the 25 lessons here, 25 days, that pain will be very different and hopefully gone. Ankle problems need the ankle, the feet, toes, the knee, the hip addressed to really overcome them well. Other way. And Tai Chi is very good at working with all those things together. Let's do some warm-ups. So feet are together. We're bending the knees back and forward, and I'm keeping a heavy heel. So as I do is I've got heavy heel. As I come forward, the pressure comes more to the front, to this row of bones here, but I still have a heavier heel. So I feel pressure change, it goes more to the front, then back towards the heel, but I'm keeping a heavy heel even when the pressure moves forward. So I'm not letting the heel weight lift off at all. This allows the pronation of the heel to occur and also pronation through the midfoot to also be there too, and the right movement to happen in the knee joints too. So the knee joint's not just a forward and back moving joint or hinge joint like it's normally said, it's got a rotational component. So how I'm moving here, that's all from the knee. So when we do bend and straighten of the leg, there's a rotation that's occurring, and that links with the pronation and supination of the feet here. So this one exercise looks like the most simple looking thing. It's very, very useful to walking patterns, Tai Chi patterns, and I do this every day for the last probably 27 years. So as you get more warmed up, you can find you can sink a bit more, but you still keep that heavy heel. Then circle. So I'm keeping the pressure in the bottom of the feet. I'm not peeling the feet off at all, the ground. And it's just small circles, it's not massive. It's like my feet are melted plastic and they stay stuck to the ground. The other way. The leg has a spiral motion, it does when it moves. So this is just working with that spiral motion. And Tai Chi movements based off circles and spirals. Come up. So just come up on your ball of the foot, high as you can go. So it'll just stretch the big toe joint here. For some people this will be hard to do, won't be much motion, could even be painful. So I don't want you to push into pain at all. And same with this one. So ideally you can make a straight line here. Circle the hips, just nice and loose, like you're inside a cylinder. You've got to clean the inside of the cylinder. So mobilising hip joints, SIJ, that's the back of the pelvis, the lower back, even the upper neck gets mobilised because the head stays in the centre. So there's mobilisation that happens up that level too. And again, such a simple looking exercise can really move a lot of joints. The other way. So we're going to do a fasten gong exercise today. Fasten gong means to relax and release from inside. So it's a relaxation exercise. So it's how you can use your mind, your awareness, to soften an area. The easiest way to relax, because I find people when I tell them to relax, they often tense up more. So there's a fear associated with it, an insecurity associated with it. I can't do that. Relaxation is a very natural thing, and it's happening even if you think that you're not able to relax, okay? Easiest way to think about relaxation and how to get that skill back if you feel you've lost it is to use less strength. So let's try this right now. So make a fist, make it as hard as you can. So it's so hard, my knuckles are turning white. If I held this for ages, there'd be less blood flow, I'd start to get sore. I'd lose maybe some feeling in there too. So how I make this relax, I put my awareness on my fist and I'll let go of the strength. And it softens. The blood comes back, the energy flows better. So I do my shoulder, so I bring my shoulder up. I feel the tension here in the trap muscle. So how I relax this, I put my awareness here and I let go of the strength and it drops. Try this shoulder without lifting it up. So I'm just being aware of the shoulder, I let go of strength. It drops a little bit. Focus on it again, be aware, can you make it soften anymore? So when we relax, the awareness is just on that area and you're letting go of the strength, letting it soften, let it release. What that does is as we progressively go from top downwards, it releases the fascia, releases the tension in the area and spreads it out into areas of that region or spreads it out down further. So the tensioning goes into the fascial system. It's like a meshwork, like a netting through the whole body. So it helps it become activated in a 360 degrees, like a spherical plane. So let's do this. So your feet aim to be outside of your feet in line with the outside of your shoulder. Straight feet if you can. If that feels really uncomfortable, a little bit splayed open is fine. But we have them straight. So over time, the joints become more symmetrical, more neutral. Often a lot of people have the right leg that's out like this because of what the pelvis is doing, whether it's rotated that way or that way. And it's compensating for rotation it doesn't have in one part of the joint or stiffness in the sacroiliac joint. So as soon as I've got this here, the feet joints can become more neutral over time, the ankle joints. So I haven't got one that's sitting in like this or sitting out like this. They become more neutral. Fibular head, the knee joints become more neutral. The hip joints find a neutral place, sacroiliac joint at the back. The L5 isn't so rotated and the whole body then can align itself better, okay, over time. But in the beginning there can be a bit of an ask for the body. So we just do this gradually. So if you need to have your feet a little bit open, that's fine. Then over weeks, months, we're gradually coming into your legs straight. So from here, I bend my knees and I bend my hip, just like I'm sitting on an invisible bar stool. So my spine's vertical. If I don't bend here, and I bend my knees, I've got this lean back with my body and it's straight here. So this is all going to be pressure on my knees, it's not going to be good. So I sit here, I make that bend, even just a little bit. So I can let my weight then sink through to my feet and I can spring. So I'm springing my knees, I'm letting this bend a little bit here. So there's a springiness in my feet, in my knees, in my hips, and letting weight sink into the feet. I've got a sense of a balloon drawing me up here. So the balloon's attached more to the back of my head. It's not attached here because if it's attached here, it pulls up. It would do this. So it pulls here, so the chin at the same time had a little bit of a pull in and a rise through here. So just a very slight tuck. I don't want to do massively like this. Very slight. And a sense of a lift through the top of the head. And then from the top of the head downwards, everything's just sinking. Just like if you do a big breath and you're like, let it out. There's that sense of sink. We want that sense to come through, okay? So I've got that position there. You might feel it in your thighs already, it's good. And just closing your eyes, place your tongue on the roof of the mouth. Helps stimulate a big electrical circuit through the center of the body and also helps pressurize the breathing into the abdomen better. The teeth are unclipped, the lips are closed, so it helps the jaw then to better relax. And I'm breathing in and out through my nose, and the body will find its own rhythm. Just be aware of your head, especially the crown of your head. So you're relaxing the very crown, the very top of the head, letting it be soft. So allowing energy to flow into that area from above. And I'm relaxing inside my head, relaxing the jaw, the face. Anything that feels compressed, letting it be soft, less strength. And I'm relaxing my eyes, letting them sit back in the sockets. So when I relax the eyes, it helps the entire nervous system to relax. And I relax my neck, as if the neck's full of air. There's no more muscles, no more vertebra, just air, and the head's just floating on top. And relaxing your chest, relaxing your shoulders, just letting the arms hang from your body. Being aware of the ball and socket joints of your shoulder, relaxing the ball and the socket. And relaxing the arms, let them be soft. Relax the fingers and the palms. Everything soften, less strength. It's okay to be at ease. And be aware of your chest and the upper back. Just letting go of compression, any compression that might be in there. No need to pull the shoulders back at all. So allowing the shoulders to drop, even the sense of the shoulders extending out to the sides, like they're getting wider rather than pulled back. And relaxing the abdomen, let it be soft, loose. Less strength in your lower back. So a natural connection starts to form between the upper and lower body through your lower back via the psoas muscle. And letting the hips be soft. And the thighs. So we have to use these muscles to stand, but we can use less of the muscle, less strength. So we become good at graduating strength rather than using 10 kilos of force on something that only requires 1 kilo of force. But usually we only have 10 kilos or no strength, so we don't have any grades between. This helps teach you how to have grades of strength. So I'm relaxing my thighs. I relax my hamstrings at the back of the thighs. Letting that link into the feet, soles of the feet. And I relax my knees. As if the knee joint's full of tight rubber bands that are all becoming slack. So the force can be redistributed into the shins, into the feet. And relax the shins and the calves. Just using the minimum amount of strength to stand here. And relax the ankles, the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, and the toes. So just finding that perfect balance point where you don't have to be using the toes to grip. The tendons in your ankles and toes aren't sticking up. Finding that perfect balance point. Be aware of your whole body. Whole body relax. Whole body together. And we let the mind relax. We let the heart relax. Relax the organs. Whole body together. And pop your hands onto your hips, so they're like a monitoring system, so your fingers like that. So the hands represent the height of your hip. We're going to see if one hip yoinks up, hikes up, one drops. So we want to keep them level. So from here I shift the weight across, and I shift the weight across. So I'm keeping my spine vertical. So I'm not bending or tilting, vertical, which means I have to sit in the kwa here still. So I sit deeper in this kwa as the weight shifts across, and deeper in this kwa. If I don't, the body will do this tilt, so I need to sit here more, and also sit here too properly. So as I shift here, I'm feeling the weight shift. So I've got a lot of weight that's just gone into this leg, into the tripod of my foot. So I push across, so I push with this foot. I feel the kinetic force come up, then it loads, and I reroute that into this leg, still staying vertical. Tripod of the foot still taking the weight. So again, the tripod, the heel, knuckle of the big toe, knuckle of the little toe, that tripod has the weight all the time through this exercise. And I'm just noticing, is my body staying vertical? Are my hips staying the same height? Or is one changing position, tilting? And I want you to just feel that, just the change of the weighting. So in Tai Chi, it's empty, distinguishing between empty and solid. So solid is the weight in the leg. So I feel a lot of weight here, and this leg's emptying from weight. In a moment we'll start lifting the leg, so it's totally empty, and this will be completely full of weight. I push the weight across, so it's transitioning. The solid bit starts becoming empty, the empty starts becoming solid or full of weight. So I'm relaxing my diaphragm as I do this. A little bit hard to do as I talk as well. And as you do this, I want you to keep your knee in line with your big toe, or even in the middle here between first and second toe, so it doesn't drift in and it doesn't open out. So if I drift in too far, I lose pressure in this part of the tripod, and if I let it open too much, I lose pressure in this part of the tripod. So I just move enough where I still keep the pressure in the tripod, so it stays there all the time, and the knee's just got that little bit of movement that I might do, but it's aiming to stay in line here or here. And when we do that, it makes the hip move properly, the brain can ground sense better, and we're protecting the knees from being overloaded. So we'll just have a little rest. I could do this all day, but I'm just thinking about you guys, so just have a little rest, let the legs be loose. So let's sink back down again. So still sitting in the kwa here, springy, and we're going to push across. So I push with this foot, it pushes the weight across. I feel the weight load into here. I lift the heel, so I feel this whole side here, whole side of my body is light, is empty of weight, and I've got all the weight going down through, it's pillaring down through this foot here. Shift the weight across again. So this is a fundamental skill within Tai Chi walking to be able to get this really good, because it protects from injury, gets the fundamental principle that Tai Chi is based off with the yin and yang, get that really functioning well. And it enables you to step really fast for those who want to do this for martial arts, and to have really solid power. It needs to be a very good clear delineation of yin and yang force in the body, opposite forces, and then the unification of those things too. So I'm lifting my heel each time, but I feel the weight empty, so I'm shifting weight, rerouting it to here. Then I feel I can easily lift that heel. Then I'm going to draw that foot in, lift the leg, down again. You can touch if you need to. Then we land on the toe first. Then align the foot so it's straight again. Shift the weight, lift the heel. When you can easily lift it, when it feels right, I lift that up, back down, I can touch, back your shoulder width again, angle the foot, shift, weight reroutes, lift the heel, we'll draw this across first, lift, at least to parallel to the floor with your shin, with your thigh, down again, step with the width, shift. So I'm keeping the shoulders dropped, belly relaxed. So when we stuck on one leg off and the body goes, wants to tense up, we keep everything still sunk down, relaxed. Step across again, put your hands on here again. Can you feel when you lift your leg, does your hip hike up? Does it change? We don't want it to, so it stays level. So I'm staying vertical. I'm not leaning forward, definitely not leaning back. When I lift my knee, I'm not bending like this. I'm not leaning back, I stay vertical. So it looks like, nothing much changes in the entire body except for that leg lifting. So it doesn't alter the position of my spine. Having said that though, as I lift, I feel quite a bit of change in my body because there's actually, the body starts to connect and unite here. And we just let the arms come up, extend out forward, so embrace the tree. So we've got a roundedness in the arms, like we're resting the arms on a balloon. The balloon wants to float up, the arms gently hold it down, about the length of a fist to even 2 fists between, so like the length of your foot even between. You can play with it, you can sort of feel which one feels best for you after a while. So if here feels good for me today. So the center of my palm points to the center of my chest. Elbows are dropped lower than the wrist, so I'm not like this. I'm just letting myself relax into this posture without losing the shape of it. I keep relaxing into the posture. I bring the bones into position, set them in position, then relax the soft tissue around them. That's pretty much what Tai Chi does all the time. So we're going to do this same exercise, but with the arms in this position. So the lifting of the leg, the weight transfer doesn't change the tensioning, doesn't change the position of the spine or the arms. And we'll land on the heel each time. And we close 3 times. The awareness goes through the top of the head, out, down to the feet, in through the top of the head, anything that's risen, letting it settle down to the feet. It's like you're pushing a ball underwater, that sort of buoyant feeling in the arms, about the level of your belly button. Holding this position, again like we're holding a ball, so it's not flat like this, like you're holding a ball with the hands. And just noticing how your body feels. Is there things circulating? Does the body feel still, relaxed? Do you feel tense? I dedicate the entire merit of this practice to the enlightenment of all beings in all places and all times. May this be a gift to the world and to you.